Jaws 50th Anniversary Re-Release. IMAX in 3D in theaters this summer. Imagine a world where suspense and thrill come together to create a timeless cinematic experience. That's exactly what the re-release of the iconic film Jaws offers. And it's coming to theaters soon. Not only will audiences get the chance to watch this classic in its original format, but they can also enjoy it in stunning IMAX and immersive 3D. Originally unleashed onto screens in 1975, Jaws has become a cultural landmark, firmly establishing its place in film history. This year, it celebrated its momentous 50th anniversary on June 20th, reminding viewers why it's still considered the quintessential summer blockbuster. What makes Jaws so special? It was filmed in the picturesque setting of Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts, over a production period that spanned from May to October of 1974. The film's blend of storytelling, suspense, and groundbreaking special effects captivated audiences and transformed the summer moviegoing tradition. Here's where it gets exciting. From August 29th to September 4th, viewers can revisit this pressure cooker thriller like never before. With screenings across Massachusetts and beyond, moviegoers can experience Jaws in advanced formats such as 4K, IMAX, Real D 3D, and even the thrilling 4DX and D-Box systems. This means you can see the legendary shark story like millions have before, but with twice the stunning visuals and immersive experience. Jenny Storms, the chief marketing officer at Universal, states, "Universal is home to the biggest movies in the world, and it doesn't get any bigger than Jaws. We want to celebrate 50 years of this enduring film that has captured the public imagination for generations by bringing it to audiences at home in all the ways they love to watch." Wondering if you can snag tickets? Great news. Tickets for the Jaws 50th Anniversary re-release are already available for purchase on Fandango. You might want to secure your seats early, as this unforgettable cinematic experience is sure to draw large crowds. If you're in Massachusetts, here are some notable locations where you can enjoy Jaws. Jordan's Future in Coke City, Florida, has it listed as coming soon. Be sure to check for updates. Jordan's Furniture IMAX is also featuring Jaws 50th Anniversary with advanced buying options available at its venues in Natick and Reading. Showcase Cinema Deluxe Randolph and IMAX is marking its schedule with this classic film as well. Various locations of Regal Cinemas throughout the state will screen the film, including a 3D format that's bound to provide a gripping experience. Now, let's dive into the plot. Jaws revolves around the small beach community of Amity Island, which faces a terrifying threat when a menacing great white shark begins to hunt its swimmers. The narrative is rooted in a 1974 novel by author Peter Benchley, which was inspired by the actual shark attacks that occurred in New Jersey in 1916. Interestingly, Benchley expressed in a past BBC interview that his fascination with shark attacks, including the legendary exploits of Frank Mundus, a sport fisherman from Montauk, Long Island, served as a significant influence in crafting the gripping tale we know today. So, are you ready to either see Jaws on the big screen once more, or experience it for the very first time? Whether you've ventured into these waters before, or you're about to take the plunge for the first time, there's no denying the excitement surrounding this re-release. What are your thoughts? Are you eager to experience the suspense of Jaws in IMAX or 3D? Drop your comments below, and let's discuss your favorite moments from this classic film. The undeniable greatness of Jaws, a 1970s film icon. There's a shark in the water, but it's not the one you think. The documentary Jaws at 50, the definitive inside story, reveals a side of Steven Spielberg's 1975 blockbuster that most audiences never consider. Fidel Castro read Peter Benchley's novel and declared it a marvelous metaphor for the corruption of capitalism. That's right, Castro saw the movie as a political allegory. But here's where it gets controversial. What if the real horror of Jaws isn't just the shark, but the system that prioritizes profit over people? For years, left-leaning critics have fixated on Mayor Larry Vaughn, Murray Hamilton, the smarmy, profit-driven official who orders beaches to stay open despite a deadly shark lurking. Sound familiar? Every time politicians ignore public safety to protect economic interests, Vaughn's grinning, empty-eyed friendship speech becomes a mirror to our own world. Those beaches will be open on 4th of July, he commands, and the town's terrified tourists are herded like cattle to maintain the illusion of normalcy. And this is the part most people miss, the film's true duality. We're terrified of the great white shark, but the human shark, the one who sacrifices lives for tourism dollars, is just as monstrous. Spielberg's mechanical nightmare of a shark, glimpsed only in terrifying glimpses, contrasts with the real-life predators in suits. The film's underwater perspective, paired with John Williams' iconic two-note score, makes us feel the primal fear of being hunted. But Jaws is more than a thriller. It's a product of the 1970s, a decade of upheaval. Made during the Vietnam War and Watergate scandal, the film reflects the era's distrust of authority. The New Hollywood movement, inspired by European neorealism, the French New Wave, and Third Cinema, pushed filmmakers to experiment with style and substance. Studios, desperate to attract the youth, handed young directors like Spielberg unprecedented creative freedom. Yet the documentary Jaws at 50 strangely ignores how this film helped usher in the blockbuster era, sidelining auteur-driven art films. Speaking of challenges, Spielberg nearly lost his job. The mechanical shark kept breaking, schedules were chaotic, and the script evolved in real time. Robert Shaw's legendary USS Indianapolis monologue, for instance, was a last-minute addition. Shaw condensed a 7-page script into a haunting tale of survival, describing sharks with lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes, and that chilling line, "Anyway, we delivered the bomb." The film's raw energy, born from chaos, became its strength. Even minor details, like local actors wearing their own clothes, gave it a gritty realism. Jeffrey Voorhees, the boy who played the first victim, admitted he feared hypothermia more than the shark. Spielberg's mastery of camera techniques, like the dolly zoom in Brody's Panic, cemented his legacy. Yet the documentary downplays how Jaws marked the turning point. Hollywood shifted from artistic risk to formulaic hits. Directors like Jordan Peele and Guillermo del Toro praised Jaws for its innovation. But Spielberg's later work, while polished, lacked the 1970s political edge. Was Jaws a product of its turbulent time, or a warning we've yet to heed? Share your thoughts. Do you see the film as a capitalist critique, or is it just a thrilling summer movie? What do you think the documentary missed? Let's debate in the comments. Jaws 50th Anniversary, exploring the central mass roots and shark legacy. Imagine being in the water, surrounded by the unknown, and suddenly a fin appears out of nowhere. This is the stuff of nightmares, and it's exactly what made the film Jaws a massive hit when it was released 50 years ago. But here's the thing. The story of Jaws has a lot more to it than just a scary movie about a shark. It has roots in Worcester, Massachusetts. And it's a story that's deeply connected to the city's history and culture. The author of the novel Jaws, Peter Benchley, came from a family of writers and intellectuals who had a significant impact on the city. His grandfather, Robert Charles Benchley, was a famous humorist and writer who was born in Worcester and went on to become a prominent figure in the city's literary scene. But what's really interesting is that Peter Benchley's novel was inspired by his own experiences spending summers on Nantucket, where he would often hear stories about sharks and the ocean. And this is where the story gets really fascinating. The film Jaws was released in 1975, and it was a game changer. It was one of the first blockbuster films, and it set the stage for the modern movie industry. But it's not just the film itself that's interesting. It's also the impact it had on people's perceptions of sharks. Before Jaws, sharks were largely misunderstood and feared. But after the film's release, people began to see them in a different light. They realized that sharks were not just mindless killers, but also fascinating creatures that deserve respect and protection. Today, we know that many shark species are threatened with extinction due to overfishing, pollution, and climate change. But we also know that there are people working hard to protect them and their habitats. The New England Aquarium, for example, is doing some amazing work to educate people about sharks and the importance of conservation. And it's not just about the big sharks. It's also about the smaller species that are often overlooked. So, as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of Jaws, let's take a moment to appreciate the complexity and beauty of these incredible creatures. And who knows, maybe we'll discover a new appreciation for the ocean and all its wonders. But here's where it gets controversial. Some people argue that Jaws is not just a movie, it's a cultural phenomenon that has had a lasting impact on our society. Others argue that it's just a movie and that we should not read too much into it. What do you think? Should we be celebrating the anniversary of Jaws, or should we be more critical of its impact on our culture? Let us know in the comments.